Hello, my name is Mov, and today it is my 6th YouTube video. We are on a roll! Today I wanted to take a step back from D&D and show you other ideas and other concepts and characters that I have brewing in my brain. Today's video is sponsored by my brain and my dreams especially. As an artist, I tend to have very vivid dreams, and I like to write them down sometimes, especially if they were particularly interesting or if they just stood out to me. And this one comes from a couple years back. I remember it so vividly, and I don't know why it's stuck so hard in my brain, like hours after I woke up especially. But what I decided to do is the past few days I've just been concepting and creating, hopefully to make a short little video explaining more about this dream series that I call The Lighthouse. To start us off about The Lighthouse, it centers around a young boy protagonist named Max. Max lives in a house that is right next to this lighthouse that is, admittedly not his own house. The sad truth of the matter is that Max was abandoned by his parents on an island that they had crashed upon. The inhabitants of this house next to the lighthouse took him in graciously, alongside their daughter, Anya, who is being drawn on screen right now. Anya is also a child who was abandoned by her parents at sea, who then later washed ashore where this lighthouse is. You'll see them in a minute, but the two older folks is Robin, a housewife, and Will, the lighthouse keeper. Robin is, admittedly not at first very excited about all these children in her house. Her and her husband moved out to the sea to live a happy retirement, taking care of this lighthouse, but now there's suddenly 3 kids to feed. The latest arrival to come to the doorstep is young Audrey, feisty tomboy who doesn't listen to authority. In my mind, this place takes time around 1910. I remember it being one of the very few black and white colored dreams that I've had, and I think it was more so intentional that it was slightly black and white, and less of that I don't dream in color, because I do. And even then, I do remember this dream flickering between black and white and color to show that it's an intentional choice from my brain, thankfully. So here is the main-ish cast, and now to show you where they live. One of the most prominent points of this dream and this lighthouse that I remember is that it has a large, long glass corridor, I guess. I'm about to draw it right here, right there. And it connects to a dock that is the only port, I believe, that was on the island. I'm pretty sure that I remember there being a beach, but that's inaccessible by the sea. So if you want to get on and offshore, you have to go to this dock that connects to a large glass tube that connects to the house. If I remember correctly, it was something that, like, a boat comes once a month to give them supplies if they don't have any, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes people lost ashore will come up to the dock, leave a child if they've got one, and then leave, or, even children will be thrown overboard, something terrible and horrific and sad like that. And there was one particular aspect of this dream that I do remember. As I said, it's centered around Max and his, adoptive sister Anya is with him. With the new arrival of Audrey comes everything going, downhill from there. Because, see, in my dream, Audrey kind of gets possessed by this large black demon dog creature thing. So here I'm doing some, I guess what you could call dog studies. I'm not that great at drawing animals, and this was a very good excuse to force me to try and draw dogs, at least a little bit, get the silhouette down, figure out how they stand and how their legs work. But there wasn't much else to the dream other than the fact that this was a thing. She gets possessed, and it's a very bad time for literally everyone else. I remember Audrey being very standoffish, very excitable, very antagonistic from the get-go, and not much of a authoritative listener. She doesn't really care for that. She's very, I don't know how to describe it. She was just very rude and mean in my dream. And of course, this dream happened years ago, but I still remember it quite well. And I remember being aware that Max gets a very bad feeling about Audrey, and yet, Anya wants to give her the benefit of the doubt, being that, she was probably just abandoned by her parents, and it's not going too well. But Max, he doesn't know how to feel. Him and Anya were abandoned, but they're doing fine. He remembers when he last saw his parents, but now he has new parents, and he's a boy. He's a little inconsiderate. Now, a big portion of me concepting for this story, or this dream that I had, was less of the characters, less of the animal that was involved, and I really wanted to put a lot of attention and focus on environmental storytelling. I am still in my ongoing battle to get better at backgrounds, get better at showing stories through environments. So I was drawing up a lot this week, and I decided that, I need to draw little areas around this place. I need to figure out what they look like. I need to figure out what the environment looks like. And it's very rocky. Lot of little bits of grass, and it's almost perpetually dark and gray, and the sky is always hanging low in the air. Here is the aforementioned inaccessible beach. I don't know if it would technically be like a lagoon or what have you, but I see it as, there is a way to the sea through it. I just think of it as, either being too rocky or too shallow for a boat to breach. But either way, if there is an opening, it is way too small for a commercial boat to get in through there. But I like to think of this inaccessible beach, inaccessible, there we go. I like to think of this inaccessible beach as somewhere that Max would go to a lot. It's kind of like his thinking place. As I said, he's very connected to the sea, and he longs to go sailing, maybe go find his original parents. Not that he doesn't love Robin and Will. No, they're great. They're good replacements. But, there's a sense of mystery out there, and he wants to go find it. He's curious like every little boy would be, especially in 1910, when I think this takes place. Don't quote me on that. But, I don't know. It was a really fun exercise to explore what I remember, explore the notes that I have in my note app, and really just take this as an exercise to work on things that I know I have trouble with, such as animals and backgrounds and scenery. As for character relationships, as I said, Robin is not so enthusiastic about all these kids. Will accepts them with open arms. He's always wanted a large family. They've just never had the money to really afford it. And it seems that the commercial ship that comes by and gives them food every month doesn't really seem to give them a little more to take care of these kids that's washed up shore. Not that they'll take the kids back to their original families or go find them somewhere else to live, but that doesn't really seem to bother either of them secretly. Max, I see, is very protective of his sister Anya. I like to think of Anya as being the oldest one there. She was the first one to arrive, and she's older than both of them, and she's very smart, very educated. Robin spends a lot of time with her. It's almost a little clear that she is very much one of Robin's favorites, being that, she does listen, and she's very invested in keeping everything nice and orderly, as opposed to Max, who doesn't. And Audrey, being the newcomer, kind of disrupts this natural routine and rhythm that they have with one another. She causes a lot of strife and a lot of turmoil, and it's rocky for everyone, but it is something that they have to learn to get over. And who knows, maybe there's a happy ending in this type of story, and maybe there isn't. That would have to be something that I figure out later on, and that I try to figure out what I want to do with. But here's a bit of close-ups on them. I was really happy to get to draw them a little bit bigger and do a little bit more of a painted look with them. But with that, I really hope you guys liked this one. Again, a little bit of a shorter video, I know. But a lot of this content came from scratch, as I've never actually really drawn anything for this dream that I've had that I've thought about making into like a series or like a comic or something. So I did not have a lot of backlog to work with. Everything was made on the spot like yesterday or like 2 days beforehand, so I didn't have a lot to work with to make the video. But if you want to see more original content from me or anything of that sort, drop a comment below, let me know if you liked it, let me know if you want to see any other things. I will be posting high quality images from this series to my Patreon, and I might give a community update over there on my Patreon and let everyone know what my next video might be in terms of original ideas. With that being said, I want to give a huge thank you to my subscribers. I'm at like 75, and that's crazy to me. And I want to give a special thank you to my patrons. They include Octopus Lion, Rain Falling Into Your Coffers, and Elliot McNeil. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, and I'll see you next week. I have nothing else to say. Bye-bye.